Welcome to your first edition of Head to Head of the 2017 college football season. I'm Lauren Sisler.
And I'm Kevin Scarbinsky. And not to overhype this first show, but we could be talking about the biggest opening game in the history of college football.
Yeah, we're talking Alabama, Florida State, and the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which, by the way, is a beautiful facility. So let's break this thing down. Yeah, Kevin, you talk about a hyped-up game. You're talking about two teams in the top three. This is the first time that we've had a season opener with two top three teams since 1950. I wasn't born yet. Were you?
Hey, wait a minute. I'm not that old.
Well, okay, so that's another fact. Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban, the only two active coaches right now that have winning records against top 25 teams, and neither of those coaches have lost a season opener.
Yeah, we could go on and on. This is good on good, as everyone knows, at the head coaching position, but not necessarily at the coordinator spot. Look, when Florida State has the ball, Jimbo Fisher's calling plays. He's one of the best in the business at that. Jeremy Pruitt, Alabama's defensive coordinator, one of the best in the business at what he does, and he knows Jimbo Fisher because he spent that 2013 season, the national title season in Tallahassee, working with the Seminoles. It's the other side of the ball that's the X factor. Brian Dable's first game as the Alabama offensive coordinator, and to me, the weak link among coordinators in this game is Charles Kelly at FSU. Last year, the Seminoles gave up 34 points to Ole Miss, 35 points to South Florida, and that disastrous trip to Louisville when Lamar Jackson and company dropped 63 on them.
Ran all over them. I'm expecting this to be a pretty intense football game between both offenses. Francois, obviously a great quarterback over at Florida State. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see how they match up. You see Alabama has lost 3 of their top 4 receivers, so right there is going to be a good matchup. But Jalen Hurts, I want to see him open up the playbook a little bit. I think Dable, we're going to see a little bit of that Patriots-esque offense, but I want to see him do a little bit more. I think he's grown a lot this summer, but how much has he grown as a quarterback? How much has he matured?
That's going to be the key. And really, the best matchup, player matchup in the game is Florida State's offensive line, which was terribly shaky last year against Alabama's defensive front, which doesn't have Ryan Anderson, doesn't have Tim Williams, doesn't have Jonathan Allen, but it has a lot of guys who are very talented, but now they've got to step up and be the playmakers on that front.
We know what Nick Saban does best. He reloads them. All right, it's prediction time.
Lauren, I have a lot of faith in Jimbo Fisher's ability as a play caller. I don't have much faith in Florida State's ability to block Alabama's defense. And I don't necessarily have faith in Florida State's defense's ability to shut down a running, throwing, dual threat quarterback. Lamar Jackson last year threw for 216 yards and 1 touchdown and ran for 146 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is Lamar Jackson. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is going to win the Heisman, but he's a dual threat playmaker. I think it's going to be a tough, physical 4-quarter game. There will be SEC type athletes on both sides of the ball, but Alabama finds a way, 24-17.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. Jalen Hurts, a dual threat quarterback. I think we're going to see a combination of things from him. Again, I'd like to see where he's matured this summer and working under Brian Dable. But overall, I think this Alabama offense, nobody's going to do anything too flashy. I think we're going to see a progression on the Alabama side. Nothing too flashy from Jimbo Fisher on the Florida State side. But I think in the end, it's going to go 4 quarters, and that Alabama defense is wearing Florida State down. Your final score, Alabama wins 27-17.
Okay, Lauren, we know that no Nick Saban disciple has ever come back to beat him as a head coach. I think Jimbo Fisher is in the best position to do that. Jimbo Fisher has, I didn't realize this is a great stat, he's got the highest winning percentage, .821, in the history of the ACC. He is 78-17 as the Florida State head coach. That's really, really good, right?
Really good. Very good.
You know what he has to do to match Nick Saban's record at Alabama? He has to go 41-2 in his next 43 games. So Jimbo Fisher, very, very good. There's still a gap between him and Nick Saban.